welcome to the Busy Mom Show, the show to help women and their families thrive. Today on the show, I'd love to introduce you to Judy and Joy, who are identical twins with a passion for food and cooking and sharing it with the world. So thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
So you began your cooking career on television.
We did.
Tell us about that.
That's kind of how it started, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead, Judy.
I know, because we don't want to talk over each other. We started on the Food Network.
Yes.
And we entered a contest. And we didn't win the contest. I like to say we did. Joy says we didn't. Right. But they called us back, and we did a wonderful segment, Christmas segment, with one of their chefs, Danny Boome, for Bobby Flay's Dear Food Network. And it was aired, I think, for 4 or 5 years after that, every holiday time.
Right,
Yes.
but because of that, we just entered it for just something silly to do.
Yes, we did.
It kind of like sparked and really brought out, maybe we should pursue this and try to share everything, Well,
I know I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So that started the journey.
Sure. But I believe that you were always both really kind of fascinated with food from a very young age. Where did that come from?
Go ahead.
Well, we have 2 grocery stores on either side, maternal and paternal,
Okay.
and in the area, and we always had the best of everything. The best cuts of beef, the freshest produce, and every Sunday, as we are Italian, the Italian families gather around the table every Sunday. They would bring home, they'd close the store like around 11 o'clock, and they would bring home everything that came in fresh that day, and it was always a big feast.
Yes.
And we were always asked to help, and that's how we learned.
Fantastic.
And also, the family was dominated by women. There were our dad had 5 sisters.
Right.
Wow.
So, I mean, being in the grocery store and then the 5 women, I mean, it was just food, and cooking and recipe sharing, and it just was.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So that's fascinating, because I know there's an awful lot of people today who really didn't grow up with that passion for food, and when I talk to you, I can hear that kind of coming through. A lot of people, it's just something that, is a necessary evil, and they just do it because they have to.
I can't even go there. I don't even, I feel like that's why one of our messages, Joy and I just love to tell people, sit around that table and to share a meal with somebody. We feel like we're sharing love.
Yes.
Right, Joy?
Yeah.
Whether we cook it or not. Sometimes we're tired too, and we bring takeout in.
Yes.
Right.
But
Or a purchased dessert, but not often.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic, and I believe that you've been on a lot of TV shows. And then how long ago was it that you wrote your book?
The book came about during Judy's breast cancer.
Yes.
I didn't, whenever you want to touch base on that, but that's how the cookbook was born, because Judy was, do you want to tell that story, Judy? Tell it so much better. Craving what you create. Craved.
We're just coming off the set from Dr. Oz.
I wasn't sure if you were allowed to say.
Yes, we're still in the land of Oz.
Yes, now on the Busy Mom Show, it just couldn't get better.
It just doesn't get any better than this.
And just like all the other busy moms, we're exhausted.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Joy had to come home from that whole day in New York, and she was cleaning, and nobody picked up the
Couldn't.
dishes.
Well, sure.
We're doing everything that everybody
Just like every other mom.
And you both have children.
Yes.
We have 7 children between us.
Wow. So that's a lot of picking up.
That's a lot of picking up.
But anyway, back to our cookbook.
Yes.
So when I was going through chemo, I was craving all of the recipes from my childhood.
Okay.
All of the macaroni and meatball, lasagna, all that Italian food that my mom and my grandmother would cook. But when you're diagnosed, you should be eating healthy.
Yes.
And some of those recipes weren't as healthy as they should be.
Okay.
So Joy pulled her couch into the kitchen, and I
Right in front of the stove.
Right in front of the stove. I had to lay down. She stood at the stove, and we were just hollering and stirring and back and forth and tasting and testing. And I don't think we realized it at the time, but our cookbook was born.
Yeah, I don't think we really realized
Yeah.
what we were doing.
I don't think we realized much. I think we were both in a little bit of a
I bet.
chemo stupor or just
sure.
an illness stupor.
Yes. But it's fascinating how out of some kind of adversity and trauma in your life, something really good can come of it. And I think that's a really important message. It's certainly something, because I coach a lot of mothers who are kind of recovering from trauma and that kind of thing. And, when they're in the middle of it, it seems a very dark place. But it's really great to know that something really amazing can come out of it. And then you do grow stronger from that. And
you do.
It's nobody would wish that upon anybody, but, you can find strength from it. And that's a really hopeful message.
You can. And, Doctor, it's also very important to have a caregiver.
Yes.
Joy was an excellent caregiver. She was right there. So these women that you talk about, they have to reach out. They need support. You can't just stay in that dark place by yourself.
But some people don't have that.
But there are
sad.
Support.
There are services out there and support groups and everything, and I don't think everybody knows about that. So that's another part of our message.
Ask your doctors too.
Well,
where can I go? What can I do?
Doctors have all the information, but we're going to have that information as we move forward advocating for women.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Anything new and cutting edge, we're going to have it. We're going to share it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I teach a lot about neuroscience, and we human beings are very sociable creatures, and particularly in difficult times, we need people around us.
I think it's comforting.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And so many people, as you say, kind of withdraw and go into themselves, and it's it's not the right thing to do. It's understandable, but it's also not the right thing to do. So
that's right. We agree.
So I love the idea of I saw you being videoed on one of the big shows where you were cooking, and you did this cool thing with a traditional approach and the twist. So tell us about that kind of that approach.
Okay, well that came about because there's two of us. We always want to give that one recipe two ways.
Yes.
So I kind of stick with the traditional recipes, but we need to move healthy.
Yeah.
So the twist is healthy. So it's the traditional and the twist. It's your choice, whatever your diet allows, whatever you feel like that day.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's a great approach, because I think people sometimes get kind of a bit paralyzed when they look at a recipe and they're like, well, it's not healthy. But if you get creative, you can find ways to switch things around a little bit.
Well,
so you
and
can
all
still
those
eat.
busy moms can just follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And they have some fantastic ideas
on
your
let us do the
website.
Thinking for you. You don't have to do it yourself.
Absolutely, that's fantastic. So, Judy, would you mind telling us about your breast cancer journey? And I know...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was diagnosed on September 11th, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Joy says all the time, already a bad day for the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Now
why not you? So I mean, why don't we
not pick another
two
day.
bad days?
Right. So I got the phone call. You have cancer. Those 3 words nobody wants to hear. You want to hear the other 3 words.
Mm-hmm.
I love you, not you have cancer.
Right.
And
that's a good book title.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And I was diagnosed with stage 2.
Yeah.
ER positive.
Mm-hmm.
So it was estrogen fed. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And it was a hard time. That was a hard time. But I do have to tell everyone that I was 1.5 years late on my mammogram.
Okay.
So just like all of your listeners, busy moms.
Yeah.
Okay, that's exactly what I was, a busy mom.
Putting it off.
Yes.
Yes.
Totally.
Well, what was I doing?
Yeah. You were neglecting yourself.
Well, just what we're all doing, caring for our families and our husbands.
Still cooking and still driving everybody, well, I don't know, her around. Working and all that kind of stuff. I was not afraid to go, and doctor, I had a lump.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah.
I feel so silly, like I can't even, it's hard for me to sit here and say that to you.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just neglect on your
It was
part,
neglect
which
on my
most
part.
moms can do.
Oh, totally.
They put themselves, but you know what, if we're not healthy,
I know.
we can't take care of our family, and most moms, that's one of the most important jobs, is to be there for them.
I totally agree, and I wrote a book about exactly that, about how mothers need to nurture themselves. Because
Well, I have to read that book.
yes, I'll give you both a copy. I'll rush over and get it
oh
through
my
it.
gosh, should be honored.
Because
But you have to sign it.
Of course. Because, mothers do have a tendency, and it's wired into us to neglect ourselves.
And you're the most important person. You can't do that.
And I had hip surgery a few years ago, and I was bedbound for 6 weeks, and I couldn't drive, and I couldn't walk, and I couldn't cook.
I'm sure.
Barely go to the bathroom by myself.
Oh, you hated it, right?
And it was so difficult, and I had neglected. I'd ignored some early signs of that.
You did.
That if I'd maybe taken some action and exercise probably would have prevented it, then I wouldn't have had this really awful surgery. And I meet women every day who have those kind of stories.
Oh, definitely.
I knew I was heading for a problem,
Yes.
but I just kept putting it off.
Right.
And
That's it. You just kept putting it off. Right?
Yeah.
And my youngest child said to me, I mean, he was 20, but I was mad.
Yeah.
He was mad for 2 days.
Well, but I understand.
I did. I
it was
didn't
shared-
right that minute, but I certainly do now.
Because it was sheer neglect.
Yeah.
And he was angry. I understand that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I say to women, you have to be realistic about what's going on in your life, and sometimes it is really tough to find the time.
It is.
So I think it's important to forgive yourself for that too, and move on from it, but learn from it.
Yes.
But
Oh,
learn
I
from
learned.
it. And I think the message that you're
Definitely.
giving to women that, don't ignore these things is really important.
Make an appointment.
Yeah.
For anything that
Yeah.
your body, listen to your body.
Yes.
We know as women, we have that women's intuition.
Mhm.
Listen to it.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
For any illness.
And even if you go to the doctor and they think you're a bit crazy, because
So
I think we've all been there, where
Oh,
the doctor's
definitely.
like, what are you
yes.
worrying about?
Mhm.
You still need to trust
Because
that
we know
intuition.
our
Yeah.
body's best.
Totally.
Right.
And, if you find out that you were just being a bit neurotic and a bit silly about it, then fine.
Fine.
Yeah, exactly.
When
Yeah.
we get in the car.
Yes.
But,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's better than the alternative.
yes, that's right.
So thank you for sharing that with us, because it's really important that women kind of hear that,
Right.
and that you're very open about
Yes, I
sharing
am.
your
Oh,
story.
yes.
And do you have any advice for women facing breast cancer or other health scares? Kind of how do you cope in that process?
How do you cope in the process?
Mm.
What I did, you mean after you get diagnosed or in the scare of anything?
Yeah.
Joy and we do get asked that question, or I do a lot. And for me, I think you have to stay yourself.
Okay.
You have to remember who you are, do the things you love, right, Joy?
Yes.
Because that's one thing that we really stressed, and one
Yes.
thing that we really did. And that was because of Joy, actually, right?
Yeah.
That I tried to keep her doing the things
Yes.
that I love to do.
Yeah.
Maybe on a smaller scale because she wasn't feeling well, but but she was fortunate, not that I'm tooting my own horn, but fortunate enough to have me or my mom or my younger sister to take her to lunch or take her to our mom's house.
Even if I didn't eat that much.
Yeah.
and
and
still.
And to do something, because if you're just stuck in the house for like 6 months dealing with your chemotherapy, and you never leave or you don't do anything,
Yeah.
it's sad.
And I think people lose their identity as well. They
Oh, yeah.
Oh, definitely.
the
disease.
Yeah,
Oh,
and that's
definitely.
really, really unhealthy, and I see a lot of people doing that.
Right.
And I could see how easily you
You
could
could
slip
do
into
that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I've worked with people who have Lyme disease, which is this kind of horrible chronic illness, and within the first sentence they've told you they have Lyme disease, and it's like, but that doesn't define who you are. We have to be really careful we don't. It's important to share it, but not for it to define you.
Definitely.
And
And
to
I
limit you.
certainly didn't
Yeah.
want the cancer to define me.
Yes.
And really, before this year,
Mm-hmm.
because it's about 3 years,
Yeah.
I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I didn't want to
Yes.
speak.
Yes.
I didn't want to wear pink. I didn't do anything. The day
Yeah.
I left radiation,
chemo.
tell the story, radiation.
The radiation room. Yeah, she had put on her sneakers, and we went
I never
that
went.
way all the
I
way to
kept running.
California. We never went back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for you to come this quickly to a place that you're willing to share and help other people with it is remarkable.
Do you think it's quick?
Yeah.
As Joy and I were running away from it, the kept pulling
Pulling
us
us
back.
back, because
Yeah.
now we do find ourselves in that direction.
Mhm.
Definitely the health direction.
Yes, yes.
Definitely, Judy and I are studying for our health and wellness certification.
Oh, cool, yeah.
Many other areas we seem
Yeah.
to be pulling Reiki, and we're just kind of like
Loving
interested in all of it.
All of that.
Yeah.
And moving forward, as I said before, as advocates for women in many different areas, but we're going to start with nutrition.
Yes.
which is another, I don't think anybody knows that much about it,
I know.
or how important it is.
Well, I certainly
Sure.
didn't, and I'm even a food person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, that there is kind of a generation of, or rather a few generations of people who really don't get that connection between food and
Definitely.
health. And I was
Or food as medicine. which
Yeah,
I
What
love
do you
sure.
think
that.
about that, Doctor?
I was a public health doctor in England, so I was trained in prevention. And having trained as a doctor for 8 years, it was the first time I'd heard prevention. And when I thought about that, I thought how outrageous it was that doctors are not trained in prevention. They're trained in treating sick people.
That's
Yes.
what we're learning.
Mhm.
And there's a great window of opportunity,
There is.
either before ever people get sick.
Right.
Exactly.
And it not only improves your quality of life, but it reduces your risk significantly of getting lots of horrible illnesses.
Right.
Well, and as Judy I've been hearing her say this through the many interviews we've done this month, that when you go to your normal doctor for blood work, they're not checking the levels that we need to know.
The vitamins and the hormone levels.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
I've just had those checked, and like most people, I'm vitamin D deficient.
Me too. Most people are.
I know, but it causes depression.
Exactly.
We're
Yes.
and then we just treat that with a pill, and we're not
But you
treating
don't
it
have
with
to.
ankles. I know.
But you don't have to. So that's one of our messages.
Right.
I mean, we're not nutritionists,
Mm-hmm.
but we are, women living and learning.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
we just feel that nutrition is so important.
Yeah.
And Doctor, we don't have any history in our family of breast cancer.
Sure, yes.
And I exercised, I kept myself thin,
Mm-hmm.
and I ate well.
What
Or
we-
so I thought,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't. I wasn't eating enough,
Healthy fats.
I wasn't eating enough healthy fats. I needed to diversify my diet. I didn't
Okay.
even know what diversified meant back then.
Mhm.
Right.
Or
She was the healthiest,
sickest person around.
Sure. Yes, I know, and you see a lot of healthy, skinny people, unhealthy, skinny people these
Right.
days.
That was me.
Yeah.
Oh my
Who will go for a 10-mile run,
Right.
and then go home and eat junk food, and
Yeah.
inside they're not healthy. They're no
Right. Well, because as we know, white flour, white sugar, that causes inflammation.
I know.
And
And inflammation, is that correct, Doctor?
Yeah.
Inflammation, that's when the body can get sick.
Yeah.
And I was
Can't fight
so-
disease.
And as I look back and we learn, I was so inflamed. Oh my God.
I know, and I think that message is really important. In years gone by, our grandparents' generation really didn't have access to all of this kind of
No.
processed food, and we really need to be moving away from that if we want to be healthy.
Oh,
Because
remember the TV? Well, you're from London, but the TV dinners, are you familiar with TV?
sure, I have a
But
friend
what
who
about
grew up
those?
totally on TV dinners. Her,
Yeah.
her mum was a single mum,
Yes.
never cooked. It was all she ever ate. She
Yeah.
had never seen
Oh
it.
my God, they are so.
But then again, I understand
I
it
get
back
that.
then
Oh,
for
totally.
her that she's trying to survive the mom.
Yes.
And I have done that too. Sometimes
Absolutely.
coming home at 6 o'clock with tears running down your face and
Mhm.
the high heels are still on and you're running in the kitchen to get dinner for everybody. And sometimes, if that's the best you can do, that's occasionally, that's
Yes.
the best you can do.
But you can overcome that sometimes with planning. Kind
You
of
can,
cooking
You can.
big batches of food,
Absolutely.
freezing it.
Have
or-
the kids help on Sunday
Yeah.
after breakfast. You can chop the carrots.
And it can be fun.
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Turn the
That's
music
what
on. That's what our mom always did.
Yeah.
She's a big lover of music, and we gather around the table and just, after
And
the
now
TV
it's holiday
dinners.
time. What a great way. Put the Christmas music
Yeah.
on. Put the DVR in the, hit the DVR in the kitchen.
Everybody
Put on
has a job,
Yeah.
That's great.
and it's all ready.
Whereas I grew up with a grandmother who was like, I don't want anybody in the kitchen with me. It's my job.
Yes, and I get that too.
Yeah.
I get that too.
Just get up a little bit earlier than everybody else, and you can have your time in the kitchen.
Absolutely. So thank you for sharing that with us. So
You're welcome.
I am a mother who doesn't particularly enjoy cooking. I hate to admit it. Although when I do, it's all healthy.
Right.
And I have a husband who's vegetarian, so that kind of makes it. It's a little bit challenging, and he's kind of on a paleo diet at the moment,
Is
and
he?
it's like, what do you replace the meat with? It's really hard.
Oh.
But so do you have any advice for mothers like me for whom cooking is a bit of a chore?
And we do this as a love and a passion, and of course, I love to entertain, But who really likes to cook dinner at 6 p.m. or 5 when you're
Who
so tired?
invented dinner?
At the end of the
At the end of the day. A man, we say, right? A man who has a wife. I don't want to eat. I don't want to cook at the end of the day.
No, we're tired.
Yeah.
We're really tired. Again, I think
We're getting up a little bit earlier and doing it in the morning.
Yeah, interesting. That's a good idea.
because you have a little more energy.
Sure.
Even if it means getting up 15 or 20 minutes before you have to get to the office,
Yeah.
that works for us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not good after 6 o'clock. I'm just
Yes.
not.
I know.
So if you could start prep, whether it's just ready on the pan, the sheet pan,
Yeah.
and then you can come home and just throw it in, or just some type of something. And again, I think the planning on Sundays, even write it out. They could be simple meals with a lean protein
And stick
some
to the
vegetables.
sketch.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Schedule. And maybe a little research too. Pour yourself a big cup of organic coffee or right juice or some.
They don't need to do research, so just come to our site.
That's true.
That's
Ask
the
questions. That's the thing.
No, and I think it's great that you're taking some of the legwork out of it for people, because women who are already burdened,
Oh, boy.
to
We
have
were
to
there.
go and
We
do
know.
the
We were
research.
And
on top
then
of that.
throw in the new names of the healthy foods. I didn't, years ago didn't even, what the heck is a chia seed? A flax seed? Where do I get that? So, I tried
Some
to.
people, kale. I mean,
Right,
before
yeah.
it was the big superfood,
Right.
what's kale?
And do you know, kale used to be used to feed livestock. That was kind of my grandmother.
Really?
I had a conversation with my grandmother about kale, and she was like, "That's what they used to feed the
Isn't
pigs
that
and the
something?
chicken."
Oh,
Right.
So yeah,
that's
and it
another
didn't
thing.
used to be a food that
Right.
we
Right.
kind of traditionally
Right.
ate.
Right.
So turns out it's really good for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And talk to even my girlfriends, because they're really asking Judy and I now, our close girlfriends, what
Yes.
should I eat to replace this? What should I do with this? And they're so confused, as I was.
Yeah.
One change at a time.
That's
a good idea.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
what we're like. Don't get overwhelmed, and we talk about this a lot. And excuse me, Sissy,
Yes.
in our interviews or whatever. Even when you are ill or when you're diagnosed with breast cancer, and you have to
Or
start-
any illness,
or
and
any
you're
illness.
confused.
Right, and confused. The doctors want you to immediately go out and buy the $500 Vitamix and start juicing with all those greens that you never even heard of.
Yeah.
Joy and I said, okay, ladies, take a breath.
Right.
Slow down.
Yes.
Start with one.
Yeah, let's
Yes.
just one at a time.
Right.
That's a really good
Right,
approach.
and then
Because
as you,
if
it's
people
so
get overwhelmed,
overwhelmed.
they
I
just
was all
won't do
stressed
it.
and overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Well, the stress with the disease, stress with the, right, the nutrition.
Well, this is what my girlfriend did with the book. See you later, Joy.
Yeah. People are like, that was my book. They're like, I really like the sound of your book, however, reading it's a bit of an effort.
So we want to we will help you
Yes.
make the simple changes one at a time.
Right, and in our new cookbook that is coming out very
Yeah.
shortly, that's what we've done.
Right.
We've taken all the traditional recipes that we love and changing just a few of the ingredients
Yeah.
to make them a bit healthier, add a little more protein, a little bit more fiber.
And most of them can be found in the grocery store, so you don't have to
That's
go.
good. I hate a recipe book when it's like,
I know.
where do I get
Well,
that?
that's another thing my girlfriend said. So they were actually very helpful,
Yeah.
on making it simple and easy.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
well, we better finish up. We could talk all day.
Oh, all day, all
day.
So thank you so much, Judy and Joy, for
Thank
being
you,
on the
Dr.
show today. And thank you so much for watching The Busy Mom Show. If you like this episode, head on over to thebusymomshow.com to watch more episodes today. Thank you and bye-bye. Bye.